Game prices, promotions, microtransactions are all pretty weird. I mean, do I need to say more, or should we rethink our entire philosophical views now? In general, value for money in gaming is pretty wacky. £7 for a 100-hour experience, or a skin. I'm no mathematician, but one's a bargain, and the other's The Witcher. Of course, value for money is purely subjective. It is dependent on what the product means to you, and whether the price warrants it. But, you should probably draw the line at £100 for some neon guns. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm no financial advisor, but Pablo Picasso better have painted this shite, or I'd say you're getting a full-on M26 frag grenade up your ass with that deal. Oh yeah. Probably should have said, if anyone complains about me using pounds, shut up you wee rat, we're on my grounds! But I'm no monster. So here's the conversions. The market jumps all over the place with game prices on the rise, accompanied with increased monetization across the board, making it seem that gaming is more expensive than ever. But yet the prevalence of sales, subscription-based services, and high-quality free-to-play titles have substantially increased, given more budget-friendly options. But it just seems more than ever, value for money in gaming has never been so inconsistent. Whether it's AAA price games simultaneously being the best and worst gaming can offer, critically acclaimed titles being the same price as a single skin, or even pre-order bonuses charging an extra £10 for some random things you'll never use. Glow-in-the-dark condoms. Mate, who do you think your target audience is? I mean, just look at the variety of stuff £70 can get you. That's like 2.8 Kung Fu Pandas, which is clearly the best deal. When determining whether a game is good value for money, we tend to look at the quality of the experience and the time played it offers. Just how when paying for a AAA game, we expect a high quality title with a decent runtime. However, even within this expectation, there's still a massive variety in runtime and quality. On the one side, you have bigger games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla that can offer 50 hours more of main content over a game like Rift Apart, which is great if you don't get games often or for those who want a massive world to get lost in. But then again, it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Games that have too much of a focus on increasing playtime rather than focusing on the moment-to-moment experience can often be inflated with more repetitive and drawn-out elements, whereas smaller, denser games can focus on delivering a constantly evolving experience from start to finish. Is this always the case? No. But when those massive games perfect that gameplay loop, or even just click with you, they excel like no other medium in providing insane value for money. Just how smaller games can deliver an experience that's worthy of its price tag. And even then, you've got multiplayer games that have so little content comparatively, but can provide so much game time through a solid core gameplay loop, and the natural replayability of multiplayer games. And that's not even talking about the massive amount of sandbox games that tend to be pretty cheap, and can offer endless hours of replayability if they click with you. Do you get it? It's like the button. It clicks with you. One common metric used to determine the value a game can offer is the cost per hour, invented by Mr. Ubisoft himself.
Hello! I like money.
Probably. The cost per hour metric used to determine value in games is flawed. I mean, if all games were developed with this mindset of hours for cost, well, these wouldn't exist. And trust me, a world without knack is a world I don't want to live in. Games are expensive to make, and to get games of incredibly high and consistent quality, it sometimes isn't possible to have a longer runtime without padding or affecting the core gameplay experience in a negative way. Being pressing Garvey's bitch is fun for the first 2 times. The next 72? Well, I'm not quite sure. But hours per cost isn't useless, because it's still an effective factor to consider when looking to buy a game, especially if you don't get games often. It just shouldn't be the focus. And if you just stuck to games that offered a ridiculous cost per hour, well, I think you'd physically morph into a JRPG. Ideally, we get the best of both worlds, which in a lot of cases we do. Probably most cases actually. And for those smaller games, it's always appreciated when they provide more ways for players to get more out of the experience without affecting the core gameplay. Like Doom Eternal's master levels, free cosmetics, or just the general replayability because of that stellar gameplay loop. And Doom Eternal's by no means a short game. It's actually pretty long. By the way guys, if you haven't played Doom Eternal, well, you have 12 seconds to do so, or I'll sledgehammer your grand's tortoise. But with all that being said, at the end of the day, the best games could have an insane potential value. But that means less than a frog's ass if you don't enjoy it. Red Dead Redemption 2 might be one of the greatest stories and immersive open worlds I've ever experienced, and I think it offers incredible value. But for someone else, the slow-paced, awkward focus on realism might be boring. But come on man, the horse balls shrink. Have some taste. But I do think the value proposition of buying new AAA games day one is generally getting worse. Whether it's live service games selling the promise of future free content whilst launching with an underwhelming amount of content and sometimes releasing in an unfinished state that range from okay mate to fucking hell dice, that's not how buildings work. Not to mention how many also launch with free-to-play like monetization systems that can affect the enjoyment of the base experience, pushing aspects that should be in the game like skins behind paywalls and battle passes. But to be honest, the main reason is just the fact that most AAA games go on sale weeks after launch. So you pay the most, get the least amount of content, and you get before any issues have been patched out. So yeah, you should probably just wait to buy games. I mean, that's the solution, isn't it? But obviously, not all games are like this, because Elden Ring is, well, it's Elden Ring. Nah, wait, I take that back. The mount's no unicorn, it's a duocorn. Game's shite! But despite the failures on the AAA side, I still feel like it's a great time for budget gamers. Because yeah, those sales can be amazing. Lizard Lady versus the Cats for 19p, now that's value. This, in fact, was a tactical use of sarcasm. So many high quality games are consistently on sale, which combined with the major rise in cheaper indie games that consistently blow our expectations of what indie studios are capable of, put the value proposition into perspective. It's insane what you can get for so little sometimes. Additionally, the rise of Game Pass and subscription-based services can be fantastic given such a vast pool of quality games for lower prices. I just think it's weird we're in an era of games where a single skin can be valued at the same as full games. Don't get me wrong though, I'm a sucker for this too. I mean, I bought the Obi-Wan Kenobi skin. He's Scottish though, so it's pretty much my duty as a Scotsman to buy him. So yeah, gaming monetization is weird and far beyond my highest brain. The term you get what you pay for means hee-haw in the gaming sphere, as you take out a mortgage and still get rat piss in video game form. Sure, you can flip that and look at it as like every movie's not a banger, but at least it works! Don't get me wrong, we're not in the dark ages of gaming over here, but I think it's on the horizon. If games don't start respecting the national Scottish animal, the unicorn deserves more representation, and these shitey pretenders can get to fuck!